Good morning. Okay, I made a video yesterday in regard to an assignment I did, um, and Karen Horney and her particular theory on personality development. And I had to evaluate a character within a TV series and apply her theory as far as how I would diagnose that particular character, or what I would, in applying her theory, what would be my definition of evaluating that character according to her views on neurosis, of which she experienced a lot of in her own life, and it's through her own self-analysis that she came up with her theory on neurotic people. And my point in that paper was to basically make the point that most Freud, Karen Horney, and I'm also studying, is it Erickson right now? He was the one with 8 stages of development. And Carl, is it Jung? Carl, you know who I'm talking about, right? Okay, I'm not really good with the names, so I'm sure you guys all know who I'm talking about. The collective consciousness guy. One thing I noticed about when I'm reading about these psychiatrists, psychoanalysts, these people from the early 1900s, late 1800s that were able to share their interpretations of how they think our psychology worked by means of, could you shut the door, please? Because I'm losing my concentration. Well, I'm making a video right now. I'm trying to. This is probably a shit video now. Where's the bleach? Okay, anyways. My point being is that, like in Freud's case, he had what they called a creative illness during his midlife crisis. I think that he was so intense and had the midlife crisis. It was at a time when his father had died, and he was utilizing cocaine because at the time they did not know the effects of cocaine. I mean, heck, they were making coke with cocaine, and there was some other drink too, and even one of the popes endorsed it, as well as, oh goodness, I can't remember all the names, I'd have to get out my notes, but the bottom line is the way that cocaine affects the brain is it basically makes you feel really good, but it also causes you to think real deeply. I'm thinking. When I'm trying to think about how the particular chemicals within that drug react, or what they activate within your brain, and the fact that the particular chemicals that you're activating in your brain, it's almost like an imbalance. It's an imbalance. It's not a balanced environment, so therefore you're actually frying out part of your brain. I guess you could say the creative side of it. But the point, I guess what I'm trying to get at, is that they had creative illnesses, what they called creative illnesses, where nowadays, are we permitted to have their creative illness and still be able to have the credentials to share our ideas as far as what we've observed through our own self-analysis. And not only that, through studying all of this stuff in psychology. I tend to think that studying it and all these different theories, which I'm sure are just different packages of saying the same thing, can make you neurotic or think you're insane. And not only that, I'm beginning to think how much of anything that we say is truly original, because I don't think it is. Even me saying how much of what we say is truly original is not original. And sometimes I feel like there isn't much more to say. Maybe that's why there's been a lot of room in between my video making. Well, not to mention, life, just life. And the fact that, moods come and moods go, and then half the time I'm thinking, oh, how can I avoid feeling this way and feel this way the majority of the time, and not and feel this way just a sliver of the time, because I don't like feeling like this because it doesn't feel good. But when I feel like this, I want to feel like this, for the majority of the time, maybe 3 weeks out of the month versus the 1 week, or maybe. But you know what? What I've noticed is that when my mood changes, how I look at my world changes, and my mood will change, and I don't even know how it changed. I mean, sometimes I can get so damn depressed, and most of the time I don't feel all that incredibly energetic, and very seldom do I feel incredibly glowing. I had one day like that in November, one day where I felt good. But heck, maybe that was just chemically induced. Because in all reality, how many of us aren't on some sort of antidepressant or drug that is somehow trying to balance out our brain chemicals? And that's why yesterday's video was touching upon the fact that neurosis is the norm, and the perceived normal psychology that I'm being taught by people just like you and I who struggled with life, that is not the norm. That is how we want to feel, but it is not the norm, because the norm is the multi-billion-dollar mental health business, that, the pharmaceutical business that is, can't dole out the pills fast enough so that we can continue to live our neurotic lives and be able to somehow, keep on going and living up to ideals that are probably insane. So which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which comes first, the mood swings or nutrition? If we're not we don't have the correct nutrition, our brain chemicals are off, or is it because of being little and not having the certain hurdles? We didn't overcome the challenge within each stage. According to Erickson. I mean, who knows? All I know is that I'm not quite understanding why yesterday's video is not being received well, and I don't know how. Maybe I'm being misunderstood. I have no idea, but I don't know. With that, I will end this video. And just remember, yesterday's video is me giving a discussion and having to apply Karen Horney's theory. Alright? And that's what I'm doing. You got to apply the theory because the instructor wants to know if you understand it. So you conceptualize it through a character on TV. I have to remember when I'm reading these different theories that that's all they are, and that they are being uttered by people who, just like you and I, are experiencing the world, and they're just giving their opinions based off of their own self-analysis, more or less. Alright. And I also have to remember that just because I read it and it's a theory does not make it fact. Yeah. And with that, I will end this video. Make it a great day.